Here's how I've been beating every Path of Exile 2 boss in the campaign. I just run at them with my mouth open on Warrior and Slam with a little consideration for the mechanics. And then whenever I hit a wall, I upgrade my gear for the current enemy, which is where I'm at now, because I'm level 44 and my gear is level 33, level 24, level 27. When you get that good legendary item, you kind of don't want to give it up. My amulet is level 8, and this helm is level 28. Also, we have lightning resistance on a lot of stuff, and the boss is fire, so we need to take consideration for that, and we have even negative fire resistance. So that's probably why I'm getting slapped around. So the first thing you want to do if you're struggling against a boss is see how you match up against their damage types, and also take stock of your other stats and see what you need to improve. So all of your gear is transient. It doesn't matter if it was bis 10 levels ago or even at the last boss. This lightning resistance is doing nothing for me, and if I'm struggling, yeah, it's time to replace the helmet. Maybe not completely get rid of it and immediately disassemble, but you need to have multiple gear sets, which isn't too hard to get, so let's go do that. Now, there's a lot of good practices you should adopt, but it's also easy to be lazy and just sell and disassemble and disenchant everything. But what I've been doing is, as I'm getting like closer to the end of the act or upcoming boss, I hold on to the normal gear I get because I have tons of orbs of transmutation, and I also pay attention to the magic items I get. If you get a high level upgrade that has good resistances, it's worth holding on to. Maybe you end up selling it later because it doesn't work out for the boss, or you end up with something better, but it's nice to have it and not need it instead of need it and not have it. And now I can just use these orbs to see if we get anything crazy. So armor and evasion, maximum life. Oh, also we can see our stats as well, that, oh, I'm looking for energy shields, or maybe your build is going for pure evasion or some kind of other stat. Well, then that also is going to help with your respecking and your leveling, where it's like, yeah, I just need to aim for 34 dex now if this is a good piece of armor. But I definitely need better jewelry, helmet, gloves, boots, and potentially a weapon, even though my weapon is pretty cracked. So that's why we can just kind of go through. Oh, boom, there we go. Armor, evasion, fire resistance. If we don't get anything better, well, then that's going to be great for the boots, and then we just have to see if we get anything crazy on the helmets. Oh, if we get really desperate and really need to pull something, like boom, look at that. Armor, evasion with 5% quality. Can also see the other random items I've gotten. Hey, normal item to magic with a fire modifier. Hopefully it gives us fire resist. Sick. Oh, these boots are even better, but I don't know about getting 57 dex. Also, resistances cap out at 75%. So if we somehow manage to make it to that point, it's going to be all right. And this is already a magic item, so then we can use our upgrades on the available items. So now we have fire resist, life, armor, evasion. Boom, we got the helmet we're looking for. And then our rings, I have a soft leeching build, so I want to have that leech. This ring is absolutely cracked, so I'm going to hold on to that one for a while. But yeah, that amulet could be better, and then I don't know how we do too much better for that kind of mace. However, we got a level at some point, so let's check out the shop and see what we got. That ring is going to be accuracy, so nah. The amulet is stupid expensive. I know a lot of people are just going to say, yo, buying the random items isn't worth it. And it probably isn't. I could probably just like stat check the boss now without it and then try to go for some better stuff. Or worst case scenario, if you're poor, well then you can just farm out another level. That's going to make you more powerful. That's also going to refresh the shops, and you can find the jewelry from the magic vendor, and maybe it just goes your way. Also keep checking in on the vendor and be like, you know what, I'm gonna snag that ring that has the resistance. Maybe I'll need it later. And I guess if things get really desperate, you can also make your items rare if you need to. And then we just need to see what the quick respec is. So 34 dex, we just need to change 2 intelligence into dex, and hopefully that should just be nice. Then we equip, and it's all gonna be good. We've only gone up to 31% resistance, so having jewelry as well as runes seems to be pretty important. But again, I'm just gonna like stat check, minimally care about mechanics, and see how we do against this guy. I think we just set that down there, and then we just go boom and start running. Now you do, this is what I mean why I minimally care. You can't just go and tank that no matter what you're doing. But then for the rest of this, just like leech and some fun stuff, and now we're just not really caring about fire. If we take a big hit of damage at some point, yeah, like see, we don't We don't want to just lose flash charges for free. Sometimes he, like, randomly does different things. For the most part, we're just going to be hitting him and taking, like, basic attacks and basic spells, and we just set that up. See, that's fine. But yeah, just with that, so I went from, like, not quite getting two-shot by that to being able to fully tank it and not really care. So again, it's about just preserving your flash charges and having a no-snap button. But yeah, again, just pay attention to what the boss that's kind of giving you a hard time is, and then you might not even need to consider mechanics too much. Now, this is on a warrior, but if you just have any other class oh, whoa, I got slowed by something, but we just panic a flask and everything's good. Yeah, we don't want to eat that beam. That beam is what did me and made me go, maybe we should not have negative fire resistance. Something's happening up there. And now this just gets filled with all kinds of nonsense. Woo, okay. Okay, zappy zap. And then you do have to learn the boss for a bit. Whoa, wait a second. Hey, now he's actually kind of hurting. But this is why we save flash charges before the boss gets too wild. I'm just going to try tank this and see, yeah, we might be fine. Just drink a potion. I have my last couple of potions going because that lifesteal is still going to, or not lifesteal, but the healing effect's still going to be in effect. And there we go. So it's mostly about giving yourself forgiveness through just mitigating 75% damage on an elemental cap, and then teching in some armor. There's armor energy, there's armor evasion gear. You don't have to be a warrior to use it, and then you can tank whatever physical is mixed in. And the funny thing is, for the 3 people that also watched my Elden Ring playthrough, I accidentally recreated the blender. I thought this build in Path of Exile was going to be more like rolling strike spam, but nah, I just swing at them and I become too tanky to die. And it just kind of worked. Now, one thing that surprised me is I ended up trivializing almost every attack all the bosses had, and I just had to worry about a couple of one-shot mechanics. But after dying to them a couple of times, yeah, just play really safe about it, know what to avoid, and then you don't eat it again. GG easy. And that's also why I'm not giving individual guides for all of the bosses. If you've made it to Act 3, you should be good at pattern recognition or just kind of seeing like, okay, that thing one-shots me. Oh, here's the wind-up. Oh, here's how it all leads together. And I guess a piece of advice is, yeah, sometimes the RNG is just really bad. If there's a lingering attack from a boss and another attack routes you into just getting destroyed, sometimes that happens. Also, other times the RNG is really nice, where, hey, he only used that really dangerous thing one time, and that made the last fight really easy. Now, I did have to upgrade my gear to beat the final boss, but I had tons of resources. I sank all of my money. I sank a lot of resources into getting more modifiers on rare items and rolling for rare items and stuff, and it paid off. The magic vendor had a prismatic ring, so I upgraded that to rare, and I used every rare modifier on it, and I did end up with one of the craziest rings ever. But eventually, the RNG just goes into your favor, and you end up with some pretty crazy stuff. So the leech build finally came through. That was my plan from the start. It was even in my live stream when I first played this game for the first time ever. Never played any Path of Exile before Path of Exile 2, and I was like, alright, where's the lifesteal? Where's the leeching? And I was trying to aim for this down here, but I didn't get enough leeching, I didn't get enough lifesteal, and I ended up finding a couple of other points. Even though I didn't get enough lifesteal until the very end to accomplish it, it still gave me a goal. It was, yo, I'm going for the infinity sustain. Let's hope it works and we can build around that. Boom! Evasion and armor rating. I like backup plan, and then I just went for all the damage I could find. And this is where most of my money went, was respecking my passive tree. Oh yeah, just let me do non-stop increased damage with two-handed weapons because that's kind of the plan. Then I found this over here. 50% increased attack damage. Who cares about the reduced attack speed when we're just stacking so much damage? And now I'm in cruel mode, farming mode, so eventually I'll get the levels and the lifesteal and I can try out the Val Pact. Here's where I ended up on like armor, evasion, my gear set stuff. Now going to cruel lowered my resistances so they weren't that bad. And I guess if someone's watching this and like, but I'm not playing warrior, I'm going mage, or I'm going archer, I think you just kind of play for the same kind of idea. Now, I don't know exactly what the other classes can get away with, but there's a lot of damage, so I think you can just actually put a couple points, well, not a couple, you just get the minimum amount for like your dexterity, intelligence, and then you put the rest into strength, so you get that extra life. That way with your energy shield or resistances and then whatever other durability you're getting from your passives, you don't get one shot and then you have like maybe more damage to just lifesteal it all back, or at least the utility to get out of the bigger hits and not take as much damage to begin with. Maybe it's possible, and here's what I had for my mace, that I got my mace strike up to 2000 DPS. We have conduction. Actually, I kind of griefed myself because I wasn't doing mace strike initially. Like I said, I was going for the more rolling slam, so I just kind of had a random thing in here. This didn't do anything. So I should have put in brutality, but I had it generate rage, so I just have that damage and then leeching. But also with the amount of leeching I ended up with, maybe it didn't even need that, because if I just do more damage, that's more effective lifesteal. So I could have swapped out these. If somehow you're still struggling, you just farm your way out of it. You get some more levels, you grind some more resources, you get a lot more of these things, and eventually you just come in with like such crazy gear that has so many resistances on it. And then you identify the damage types that you're dying to. If the physical hits are overwhelming, even if you're playing dexterity build or intelligence build, you put in a little bit of that strength and you get one of the hybrid pieces where it's like, yeah, maybe you just find a piece that also has 100 or 200 armor on it and then you don't die as much. Or you level up and farm until you get pretty much no experience to make farming worth it, and then you build out your tree to find like that next passive, or you really look deep to get that more damage, to get that more lifesteal. And it can be done. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.